Нина Анзоровна, вот с одной стороны, вас называют практически единственным пророссийским политиком в Грузии. Некоторые даже говорят рупором российской политики. А с другой стороны, вас называют одним из немногих политиков, который может вести переговоры с Россией без потери территории для Грузии. А вы себя пророссийским политиком назвали бы?
Нет, конечно. Во-первых, нет никакого основания меня называть рупором российской политики. Это клише, которое было в свое время придумано для того, чтобы максимально игнорировать точку зрения, которую я высказывала, и максимально сделать одиозной ту позицию, которая является действительно очень важным. Я также не считаю себя прорусским политиком. Я вообще считаю, что совершенно неправильно, когда политики себя называют и считают или прорусским, или прозападным. Нужно быть политиком, представляющим интересы своей страны, своего собственного народа. Я считаю, что для Грузии, как и для любой страны, жизненно необходимо вести нормальный диалог со всеми государствами и соседями, и тем более, когда этим соседом является ядерная супердержава.
То дважды были исполняющие обязанности президента Грузии, дважды были председателем грузинского парламента. Вот за время, когда вы были во главе парламента, когда вы были во главе страны, какой самый лучший день в отношениях с Россией могли бы вы назвать? И какой самый худший день?
В 2003 году, вот после революции, я прекрасно помню мой разговор в ранге исполняющего обязанности президента с тогдашним президентом России, с Владимиром Путиным, потом мой визит в Москву, который, естественно, было поддержано и со стороны остальных лидеров революции Саакашвили и Жвания. Я прекрасно помню нашу договоренность относительно того, что да, российско-грузинские отношения находятся в тупике, есть очень сложные проблемы, нужно начать с пустого, с нового листа, с белого листа. И такая договоренность была достигнута. Я практически тогда подготовила почву для следующей встречи уже вновь избранного президента Саакашвили и Владимира Путина. Эта встреча действительно принесла очень серьезные, открыла, вернее, очень серьезные возможности.
А самый плохой день?
Самый плохой день, но это уже, наверное, после моего ухода. Это, конечно, 2008 год. Это страшная совершенно трагедия, хотя были и сложности в российско-грузинских отношениях. Я помню, например, 2008 год, пока я еще была председателем парламента, когда практически мы стояли у грани войны, когда российские железнодорожные войска вошли в Абхазию для, формально или неформально, для реабилитации железнодорожного сообщения. Здесь, в так называемом нашем лагере, были люди, которые просто это считали поводом для того, чтобы начинать военные действия с Россией. Но, слава богу, тогда мне удалось их переубедить, и мы смогли избежать этой страшной трагедии. Но через 2 месяца уже после моего ухода этого уже не случилось, то есть не было никого, кто мог бы переубедить Саакашвили не делать глупостей, и мы получили то, что получили, к сожалению, большую трагедию в 2008 году.
Вы много раз говорили, что этой трагедии можно было избежать. Как? Что Россия не напала бы ни в этот год, ни в другой, ни в третий?
Нет. Потому что 15 лет уже этот конфликт продолжался, и, конечно же, это была очень больная тема для Грузии, и, конечно же, Россия сыграла негативную роль в Абхазии и в Южной Осетии. Однако до открытого военной конфронтации уже за последние 15 лет, слава богу, не доходило. Были серьезные продвижки, и можно было, особенно в Южной Осетии, совершенно уже по-другому вести ситуацию, и можно действительно было бы сделать так, чтобы был бы прорыв в урегулировании этого вопроса. Если бы Саакашвили не сделал то, что он сделал, этой войны бы не было. И это мне не было бы больно говорить, это было бы неприятно говорить, я должна это сказать, потому что если мы будем скрывать эту правду, во-первых, она не скрывается, потому что докладе госпожи Талиавини прям черным по белому все это написано. Саакашвили начал бомбить Цхинвали, отдал приказ бомбить Цхинвали. Конечно же, может быть, в России были силы, которые хотели бы, что эта война была, которые готовились к этой войне, но тем более, когда ты знаешь, что есть силы, которые тебя хотят провоцировать, ты не должен быть спровоцированным. То есть эту войну можно было избежать на все 100%, я это заявляю, полной ответственностью, я это знаю, и придет время, когда будет объективное расследование этой войны, и обязательно по полочкам будет разложено все, почему случилось то, что случилось.
Как вы считаете, что можно, а что нельзя в отношениях небольшого постсоветского государства с Россией? Что никогда нельзя делать? Что опасно делать?
Вы знаете, не надо дразнить Россию. Вообще не надо дразнить никого, даже маленького соседа, потому что навредить может каждый. Нужно пытаться искать пути выхода из любого конфликта, из любой ситуации. Нужно добиться того, чтобы сосед, малый или большой, уважал твои национальные интересы. И не надо кричать об этом. Нужно просто вести нормальный диалог, нужно пытаться дать понять, что есть общие интересы. И, безусловно, у всех государств в мире, которые являются соседями, у них есть общий интерес. Не может не быть общего интереса. Например, несмотря на то, что очень многое в Грузии и у Грузии и России очень много, во многом, может быть, не совпадают интересы, есть интересы, которые однозначно совпадают об интересах обоих государств. Например, это мир на Кавказе. И для того, чтобы на Кавказе и на Северном, и на Южном был мир, необходимо координировать какие-то действия. России нужно, чтобы Грузия была доброжелательным соседом, потому что это важно для мира на Северном Кавказе. Это можно в хорошем смысле этого слова использовать для улучшения интересов. В принципе, если смотреть, России невыгодно поддерживать сепаратизм. Это же ясно, потому что Россия является федеративным государством. Так нужно уметь...
Она поддерживает сепаратистов.
Нужно сделать так, чтобы она не поддерживала сепаратизм. Но это не получится силой. Это не получится криками относительно членства в НАТО. Это не получится криками относительно того, что Россия такая плохая или так далее. Потому что это не политика. Такая страна, как Грузия, не может себе позволить не разговаривать с соседями. Надо говорить, надо вести такой диалог, который тебе даст максимальные результаты. И надо убедить Россию, что для него более выгодно иметь нормальные отношения с Грузией, чем поддерживать сепаратизм или какие-либо другие процессы, негативные процессы.
Вот ваш визит в Москву как раз был связан с этим. Вы были в России недавно совсем о приглашении председателя Государственной Думы и привезли, вот, так сказать, послание от представителей высокопоставленных российских властей грузинским коллегам, что можно начать диалог для того, чтобы вот как-то выйти из тупика российско-грузинских отношений. Это послание было передано, приняли его в Грузии?
Нет, это послание просто никто не захотел слушать.
А почему?
Ну вот не знаю, спросите у представителей грузинской власти. Ведь это же тоже показатель ненормальности ситуации, которая сейчас есть в Грузии. Вы знаете, можно было как минимум выслушать. Ведь выслушать эти предложения ни к чему не обязывало представителей власти. Они могли сказать, что да, мы выслушали госпожу Бурджанадзе, но нам не показались эти предложения важными. Или нам не показались эти предложения реалистичными. Но они даже испугались выслушать, чтобы, не дай бог, кто-то их не назвал прорусским политиком. Я абсолютно уверена, я встречалась с высшим российским руководством, я знаю, и я это говорю с полной ответственностью. Россия заинтересована в нормализации отношений с Грузией. Россия заинтересована в том, чтобы эти отношения вошли в нормальную колею. Просто нужно иметь политическую волю, не бояться, что тебя могут назвать пророссийским.
Вот я хотела спросить, вы говорите про это клише, про ярлыки, про российского политика. Как вам приходится в грузинской политике? Нелегко, наверное?
Вы знаете, с самого начала, когда впервые меня начали называть прорусским, у меня это вызвало улыбку, потому что Но это как-то совершенно не вписывалось ни в мой имидж, ни в мою позицию. Потом уже, когда начались не только как бы так мелком такие клише появляться, а уже начались обвинения конкретные, ну, конечно, это неприятно, конечно, это болезненно, тем более, когда у тебя есть дети, у тебя есть семья, у тебя есть единомышленники, которые как бы получают вот этот вот черный пиар клише предателя Родины. Ну, но вы знаете, когда ты в политике, ты должен себе спросить, вот, что ты делаешь, это правильно, это соответствует твоему внутреннему состоянию, внутренней вере или нет. Я просто абсолютно уверена, что то, что я сейчас сделаю, это абсолютно правильно, и что другого пути просто нет. Я еще раз могу подчеркнуть, назовите мне хоть один случай в мировой истории, может быть, я чего-то не знаю, назовите мне один случай, когда территориальные споры и вопросы были решены без диалога.
Хотела поговорить с вами про аннексию Крыма. Вот вы неоднократно говорили, я процитирую: «Крым сейчас является частью России и больше никогда не станет частью Украины, и что Украине нужно думать о том, чтобы не потерять еще больше территорий, и что крымская история – это бесповоротная ситуация». Можно ли тогда, если провести, может быть, это не очень корректные параллели с Абхазией и Южной Осетией, что это тоже бесповоротная ситуация?
Нет, параллели проводить нельзя и не надо, потому что это просто неправильно. Во-первых, в истории не бывает абсолютно единичных примеров. А что касается Крыма и Абхазии и Южной Осетии, это абсолютно разные вещи, потому что, во-первых, в Крыму население практически 95% это не прорусские, а русские. Это нужно было тоже учитывать украинскому руководству. Я уж не говорю про историю, кому кто что принадлежало. Это как бы для современного международного права, естественно, не является как бы показателем и правильно. Давайте скажем, в Крыму был проведен референдум. И никто практически реально не ставит под сомнение этот референдум, потому что в нем принимало участие практически 90% населения, мы прекрасно знаем, какой был результат. В Абхазии и в Южной Осетии была проведена этническая чистка. То есть референдумы и выборы там были проведены после того, как коренное население в Абхазии где-то 350 тысяч беженцев, а в Южной Осетии где-то 150 тысяч человек были выдворены из страны. Давайте вернем этих людей в Абхазию и в Южную Осетию, проведем референдум, и уж потом поговорим, если они проголосуют за независимость Абхазии и Южной Осетии. Нам придется это признать. Но я не думаю, что 350 тысяч человек, которые были изгнаны из Абхазии, и 150 тысяч человек, которые были изгнаны из Осетии, проголосуют за независимость. Я уверена, что они проголосуют за единое, достойное сосуществование в рамках единого грузинского государства.
В одном из интервью вы говорили про русского солдата, победить которого у маленькой Грузии практически нет шансов. В августе 2008 года вы боялись русского солдата? Вы боялись Россию?
Вы знаете, я не могу сказать, что я кого-то боялась. Я боялась за то, что я видела, что происходит на нашей территории. Ну, конечно же, если солдат, то будет то русский или другой, возьмет в руки оружие и направит это на твою маленькую страну, любого такого солдата и любой такой армии нужно бояться. Просто не нужно до этого доводить ситуацию. Ни в коем случае. Ведь было ясно, вы знаете, вот меня просто до крайности возмущало то, когда я доказывала окружению Саакашвили, что нельзя воевать с русскими. Ну нельзя воевать с русскими, они воевать умеют. Но они же это доказывали не раз. Тем более нельзя воевать с Россией, маленькой Грузией.
Вы сказали как-то, что Путин не является врагом Грузии. Поддерживаете ли вы отношения с Владимиром Путиным?
Ну, вы знаете, я не могу сказать, что значит поддерживаю отношения. Я надеюсь, что у меня будет встреча с ним еще в будущем, потому что я считаю, что те встречи, которые были, не были очень важными, очень интересными. И я действительно вижу, что этот человек не является врагом Грузии. Во-первых, вы знаете, он серьезный политик, наверное, об этом никто спорить не будет. Поэтому в силу своей серьезности он просто не может быть или врагом, или другом какого-либо государства. Он является представителем своего государства и борется за интересы своего государства. А еще очень прагматично, почему он должен быть врагом Грузии? Просто у него, естественно, есть, его государства есть интересы не только в рамках собственных границ, но за пределами границ собственного государства. Это признак любого большого государства. Целью маленьких государств должно быть, чтобы эти интересы они не вредили национальным интересам маленьких государств. Вот и все.
Можно ли с ним вести конструктивный диалог сейчас?
Конечно, однозначно. Если бы с ним нельзя было вести диалог, к нему бы не приезжали Меркель, Керри и остальные представители мировой политики. Поэтому я даже не считаю правильным вообще ставить так вопрос. Он серьезный политик, и он человек, который, по моему опыту, держит свое слово. Во всяком случае, то, что он нам в свое время Грузии обещал, он выполняет.
VOA presents the following National Geographic program as we continue to explore the world around us.
Illegal logging, according to Interpol, makes up about 15 to 90% of the logging in the rainforest worldwide. It's true that deforestation alone counts for more carbon emissions than all transportation, all the cars, trucks, trains, boats, planes combined. In the summer of 2011, I visited the forests of Borneo, the rainforest of Borneo, for the very first time. And as you can imagine, it was the overwhelming sound that really struck me the most. But there were some things that actually stuck out from this cacophony. This is a hornbill. This is a cicada. And this is a family of gibbons that's singing to each other over a great distance. This was not something we were aware of, but in the background of the sound, this overwhelming cacophony, is the sound of chainsaws. And in fact, if you turn down the sound of the forest, there was actually a chainsaw noise behind that the entire time. It's very, very hard to know where illegal logging is taking place, even over a short distance of the forest, because it's such a loud place and because it's such a dense place that you can't move through so easily. I think you have to realize that it's hard for people in the field. There's a lot of sincere people out there who are trying to fight deforestation, but it's not easy to know where it's happening at all times. And having real-time knowledge of this is pretty important. So here's this idea, right? The moment that a chainsaw goes off in the forest, a computer, a device is able to pick up the sound, pick it out of the rainforest chainsaw, and send an alert to local authorities who can show up in real time and halt the loggers. The most important part of the equation are the people who can actually show up and respond, who've taken the risk of being there to actually stop it. But the amazing thing is that there's sometimes pretty good connectivity. There's cell phone service out in the middle of the forest, particularly on the periphery. Out there's no electricity, no running water, no roads for hundreds of miles in some cases. But they were all on their cell phones. The people in the villages were surfing Facebook. They're on the web. They charge their phones on a generator at night. and then they do the same thing the next day. And so there's pretty good cell phone service. But you need a device, right? And so we're talking about cell phones. What can cell phones do? I mean, what can't cell phones do these days, right? So cell phones are fantastic little computers. They're everywhere. We probably all have them in our pockets right now. And they're a fantastic development platform. There's hundreds of millions of developers who are willing to use it. You have to protect it from the elements of the rainforest. So we put it in a box. There's a powerful microphone on it, and you do have to put some solar panels on it to make sure it can stay powered, which is actually the hardest part because under a tree canopy is pretty dark. This is actually what it looks like all put together. This is the prototype. There's a phone inside that box, and you're able to listen to the sounds of the forest. This is me sort of putting it all together just to show you guys how simple it really actually can be. But you have to test it in the field. So we took it back to Indonesia, this time on the island of Sumatra. And somewhat to a surprise, on the second day, we were able to pick up the sounds of chainsaws and send a real-time alert to myself and to the rangers that were there. We took off to go see where this was. This is the moment where we've just sort of walked through the forest and really not sure if this has been the best idea altogether. There's supposed to be loggers on the other side. I'm sort of kind of regretting this, oh God, he's moving. I gotta go, I gotta follow him. Okay, so we get over the hill, and on the other side, managed to catch some loggers in the act. And our partners there talked them down. Nobody had to be arrested. They actually were acquaintances of the people that run the reserve. And like, oh, we didn't know that this was on there. So they were able to leverage this. These partners, they're so fantastic. They were able to leverage this to diffuse the situation. And according to them, the loggers have not been back to that area since. And so as far as they're concerned, this was very effective. But the question is, how do we pick it out? Look, it needs to be automatic. There's sometimes people think that it's about perhaps people listening on the phone to the forest and looking for the sounds of chainsaws. It's not really feasible to expect people to pick the sounds out even. But computers are really, really good at it. On the top, you see data from Sumatra, the exact test. This is the event that we were able to respond to. This is at almost a kilometer away from where the device is throughout the cacophony of the forest. But there's these peaks, these 4 little bumps, and those represent these the signal of the chainsaw, which really does not belong in the forest. So it looks kind of like this. This is not cutting-edge science. This is really old-school data analysis. And you can see that this is much closer than 1 kilometer, but you can see these peaks that show up. And even as the peaks move around back and forth, they're always the same distance away. That's something a computer can pick out pretty easily. Based on this, if you can pick up the sounds of chainsaws at 1 kilometer away, then you can perhaps set them up around the periphery of a reserve and protect up to 2 kilometers inward, especially because the periphery of the reserve is the most likely to have cell phone service. We thought this was pretty exciting, so we shared the news with the world, and people came to us and said, "Hey, we can use this elsewhere." The first one was our partner, Zoological Society of London, who invited us to Africa to do it, and they had an even better idea in picking up chainsaws. They said to us, "Look, there's this FSC concession here. There's about 2/3 of it in the south that is under threat from illegal logging and poaching, but there's one access road. There's just one road that people use to get in and out." So you could blanket the entire surface in cell phones, which doesn't seem very feasible, or you could just set them up along this road, and if only your system could detect vehicles, then you could know the moment that loggers come in and out or poachers go in and out. All of it goes through this one gate. This is in Cameroon, and working with an FSC-certified company that's responsible for protecting this area as part of their certification. These are the guys that man the gate, and you can see behind them all of these animals that are there, these animals that they're responsible for protecting, including elephants, chimpanzees, and gorillas. But it was known that there was a decent amount of legal logging taking place there. So we set up our system along the road and trained it to pick out the sounds of motorcycles. And you can see the same sort of system applies with these peaks and being able to pick them out. Moving from Africa to the Amazon. And on the outskirts of the Amazon, you have this ocean of deforestation with these little islands of forest. Like, what's going on with that? Well, those are indigenous reserves. They're not necessarily protected areas in the traditional sense. They're lands that have been maintained by the indigenous people and are recognized by the government. And somehow, that's seeming to work. So you move down here. This is the Tembe Reserve. The area to the south is a different tribe. There's about 1,500 of them left. Most of their villages are in the north and the south edge. This was pristine virgin rainforest just a few decades ago, but the middle area is under constant threat from illegal logging, sometimes 10 logging trucks at a time, settling, and also drug plantations are there as well. So we spoke to our partners to the Tembe, and they said this vigilance program, this program of driving people out of their land could use a technological edge. These are the Tembe. They believe that they are currently on their last stand for the survival of their entire race, and it is sort of, the way forward or annihilation. Fortunately for that, They are well organized as of late. They are well armed, and they're very motivated to fight back against the drug smugglers and illegal loggers. So we're working with the chiefs in the village in the north and the south because, again, it's always about using what's already there. In the case of Africa, there was a cell tower right smack dab next to the reserve. But in Brazil, we don't have that. There is infrastructure. There's cell phone towers. So this is huge. This is a 6,000 square kilometer reserve. And so these cell phone sort of points of access that you see here are actually up to 50, 60 kilometers away from the areas that are most under threat, which made this next part pretty important. So being up in the trees was important because it allowed us to do things like this.
Just sitting up here in the tree while it drains away. Down there. About 120 feet up. But pretty amazing thing is that if you look at signal up there, no, well, that one's not very good. Look at the signal up there, we got cell phone service. Thanks to this huge parabolic antenna that we got, which is picking up a signal from about 30 kilometers away here in Brazil, in the Tembe territory. So.
Okay, so they don't all need those antennas, I'll point that out. But that one actually was able to pick up a signal from 30 kilometers away. We were able to repeat the same experiment at 50 kilometers, meaning that we can really push the limits of where this system is able to potentially work. I just got back here this weekend from the Tembe Reserve, and 1 week ago, this is last Friday, we became aware that there were vehicles moving through one of the areas where we set up a device. It was some of the illegal settlers who came back. They noticed that we'd been there. They burned down one of the Tembe bridges. And so this is from less than a week ago in Brazil. So this fight is just beginning, but it's clear that already we've been able to lend a hand to that. Thanks.
VOA, exploring the world around us.
Welcome to English in a Minute. Dogs are popular pets in the U.S. So what could this expression mean? It sounds just terrible. Let's listen.
Dog eat dog.
The media industry is so competitive.
I know, but these days, so many industries are. It's really just a dog-eat-dog world.
I want to work in a place that is the opposite of dog-eat-dog. You know, warm and fuzzy.
Me too. Maybe we could raise sheep and make wool sweaters.
Dog eat dog describes a situation where people will do anything to be successful. They do not care if they have to hurt other people in the process. The expression comes from the Latin saying, "A dog does not eat another dog." And that's English in a Minute.
Today on Straight Talk Africa, we discuss and analyze the challenges facing women and girls in Africa on their road to empowerment. And we will compare notes on what needs and must be done in order to achieve social and economic justice for the African women and girls. That's coming up next right here on Straight Talk Africa. Hello, welcome to Straight Talk Africa, live from the Voice of America studios here in Washington. I am Shaka Sali.
Hello, Shaka, and hello to all our viewers and listeners on the continent and elsewhere. I'm Ian Bior, your social media reporter.
Today, we are looking at the challenges facing women and girls in Africa in their struggle for gender equality.
And coming up later, our audience has weighed in on our topic through emails, Facebook, and Twitter comments, and we'll reveal some of them ahead on Straight Talk Africa.
The African Union has declared 2010 to 2020 the African Women's Decade. Last week, the United Nations launched the African Women's Leadership Network to support women's leadership across the continent. But as my colleague Heidi Adams-Fitzpatrick reports, African women need more than international institutional support on their road to meaningful empowerment.
When it comes to trailblazing, African women are in a league of their own. They are pioneers, freedom fighters, artists, and winners of Nobel Prizes, Oscars, and gold medals, leaders in the world of business, academia, and politics. They're also farmers, homemakers, teachers, and nurturers, long the backbone of Africa's economies. But statistics reveal African women are also marginalized, oppressed, displaced, and disadvantaged, bearing the brunt of war, violence, and poverty. The world's top 5 countries with the most women in their workforce are all in sub-Saharan Africa. Yet women get paid the least, and in many cases, they don't get paid at all. Inequality begins early. Of the more than 16 million girls out of school in sub-Saharan Africa, more than half will never set foot in a classroom. If you're poor and a girl, chances are you'll have to drop out of school, get married early, and spend your time cooking, cleaning, and caring for family members. You'll likely be more vulnerable to maternal mortality and disease. Gender-based violence is widespread. In South Africa, 1 in every 4 women has experienced physical violence. Female genital mutilation is still practiced in 27 African countries. African women and girls are regularly sold into slavery at home and abroad. Other statistics, though, show that Africa's women politicians have been overcoming these odds. 2012 was arguably the most historic year for women, shattering the political glass ceiling. South Africa's Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma became the first woman to lead the African Union. The Gambia's Fatou Bensouda was appointed chief prosecutor at the International Criminal Court. Joyce Banda became Malawi's first woman president, joining Liberia's Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who made history 7 years before as Africa's first female head of state. Women's representation in politics has made substantial progress throughout sub-Saharan Africa, where the percentage of female parliamentarians increased to 22% last year, outstripping developed countries like the United States and Japan. Rwanda leads the world's rankings in women's representation. 61% of its parliament is female. Women make up more than 40% of South Africa's parliament. Much of the success has been thanks to progressive laws that require political parties to nominate female candidates. Countries like Uganda, Kenya, Burundi, Senegal and Angola have all adopted electoral gender quotas, paving the way for women who dare shake up the status quo. Some successes, some shortcomings. Perhaps the greatest challenge for women's empowerment in Africa is to ensure that everyday women and girls are afforded the same opportunities as elites. Heidi Adams-Fitzpatrick, VOA News, Washington.
Thanks, Heidi, for that report. Joining us here in Washington are 2 distinguished guests, Monipe Osuwa and Song, 2016-2017 Hubert Humphrey Fellow at Cornell University, and CEO and founder, Ms. Food Safety Consultancy. She's also a co-founder, Food Safety Action Network. Julian B. Chiganda, founder, board, and fearless. She's also a community organizer, African Diaspora for Change, and but not least, Louise Uwachu, author and producer, You and I television talk show, Show TV Vancouver channel. She joins us via telephone link-up from the Western Canadian province of British Columbia. Well, ladies, I have to say that I'm profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled to have the opportunity to host the 3 of you on Straight Talk Africa.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Nice to be here.
Yeah.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, Shaka.
You're most welcome, Uwachu. Later in the program, we'll give you, the audience, a chance to call and talk with our guests. The number to call is 202-619-3111. The US country code is 1. Let me come to you immediately. Monipe, how do you feel about the package? looking at some of the great female role models for you, really.
Right. So I think this is a great topic, and this is also a good platform to talk about it. And to say, just to start with my life, I think women empowerment is really something that is most considerable, that we have to consider in every aspect of our lives in Africa. So I, being the last girl of my family, it's a privilege to not really have my sisters in the role I'm playing, but to look up to other mentors and focusing on what they're doing and believing in myself and getting to this far. So I believe that everybody is born to make it, whether a man or a woman. So a woman has a chance to also change the economy and make the world a better place.
How was the experience of being a Hubert Humphrey Fellow at Cornell University for the past 1 year?
It's been exciting. It's been very encouraging. And it's my first time in the United States of America. And
really?
yes. So last year, I got a call from the U.S. Embassy in Ghana from one lady, Aisha. And she told me, this is a competitive and prestigious program, and you need to really pull up. And it comes with like men and women fighting for the same position, and we just need 3 people. So I told her, Aisha, I believe in what I can do for the society, and I believe that what men can do, I can do something too. So if you give me the chance, I can prove my point, but I hope for the best. Then after a couple of months, she called me and she said, congratulations, you've received the award. So we go to the States, and my 10 months as a Hubert Humphrey Fellow has always been meeting professionals, let's say lecturers, and also people in my industry, in the food safety industry. So you get a chance to walk into people's companies, institutions. Sometimes you Google their names, like I Googled your name. So you Google their names and you make a phone call, they don't pick up. You follow it up with an email, they don't respond, you visit them. So sometimes you book to visit them, other times you just have to try. So I think being able to go through a successful Humphrey Fellowship program was all about determination and endurance.
How gender sensitive was the Humphrey Fellowship? Did it reflect, for example, gender equality?
Right. So this year, the most surprising thing is that the main topic for the Humphrey program for the year was also on gender equality.
Interesting.
So in October last year, all the fellows, 168 from various developing countries, came to Washington, D.C. here, where we had to give topics and presentations from various universities on gender equality. So my school, and I know my fellows out there, all the Cornell fellows out there are watching me, and they can attest to it, that we gave a presentation on, in quote, toilets. So how developing countries like Africa and Asia, people have, like ladies have the problems with access to toilet and good drinking water. So we spoke about the fact that it affects even the education. And we as a Humphrey group, we had 6 women and 6 men at Cornell. So we had the same platform, and our coordinators did so well. So we used to pair each other up, and sometimes it's a man against a woman. Other times it's just 2 women, and we had a lot of platforms where we shared ideas. And I believe my 6 guys out there know that we, the ladies, also we're very competitive, and we also taught them a lot throughout this program, as they also taught us.
Very interesting.
Right.
Julianne, what about you? How important is this topic for today?
I actually think it's very vital right now. I mean, here in the United States where we're broadcasting from, there's a big to-do because Wonder Woman just came out, the movie. And I've been seeing so much about Wonder Woman on television, and everybody's talking about it's a great movie, but then there's the question of why has it taken this long for there to be a movie about a Wonder Woman superhero, a female superhero, when we know that we have everyday heroes that are females in our own lives. But you know, just looking at how Hollywood reflects real life in so many ways, it just shows that, you know, this is our time now. You know, Wonder Woman is here. We don't have any excuses. But I actually think it's very timely. I have a 13-year-old daughter. So with her, I've always been very mindful about what I say and what I tell her she's capable of. For me, thankfully, or not in some ways, but in a lot of ways, I've been very advantaged because I've grown up in the United States. I've grown up in the DC area. So I've had access to so many opportunities that I know so many of my people back home may not have. And I think I have a different vantage point of what is possible and what isn't as a woman. Now, that's not to say there's not still challenges as women in the United States, but I've never, you know, I've tried never to look at the fact that I'm a female first. I try to look, and I say the same thing to my daughter. You know, you're capable of anything you put your mind to. Don't ever let anybody tell you differently. But unfortunately, that's not the message we get from the world. So I believe that mentorship is incredibly important for women and women's empowerment. And I think we need to do more of that as women for one another.
Very interesting. Louise, what about you from your vantage point? How important is today's topic to you as a female?
Well, I think it's an identity question. You know, do I identify myself as a female? Isn't identifying myself as a female limiting myself? Because we need to remember that we are spiritual beings and that the spirit is not male, it is not female. And we come to this planet, we are imprisoned in these bodies, and we must not distract ourselves by the bodies that we have come into and start defining ourselves according to the body that we have. We must rise higher and define ourselves higher than our bodies, higher than our races, higher than our tribes. And this is how we will become empowered. Because what is power? Power is the ability to do something, to accomplish something. And how do you measure someone's power? Is to see how many obstacles they have overcome in order to accomplish what they have accomplished. Then you can say that being is powerful. So if we're going to empower women and men and everybody, we need to start from the identity that we give ourselves.
Very interesting. I was reading about you, and I discovered that you have written a couple of books, but especially the first one. Can you tell us about that? We're talking about the nightmare of post-vision.
Yes, my first book is titled The Nightmare of a Positive Vision. So it's this idea that I'm a survivor of Rwanda, I'm a survivor of war, massacres, and genocide. And I came to Canada as a refugee, and I came here with a purpose. And that purpose of living happily ever after and bringing joy and peace to my world and bringing education that would eliminate hatred, division, and war, that purpose has always been interfered with negative things. So I tell people it's kind of a nightmare to have a positive vision because this world is so full of negative things, and we have survived such negative things that it's a nightmare in itself to have a positive vision. But in my book, I explain to people how I've been through that and how I've been able to conquer my nightmares and still become powerful and still be able to accomplish what I came here to accomplish and still be able to do in Canada what most people have, are not able to do.
Very interesting. Now we'll pause for a short break, and we want to remind you that Straight Talk Africa is now streaming on Facebook. Just enter the keyword Straight Talk Africa and watch our show live, and don't forget to share it with your friends. Also, we are on Twitter. Follow us at VOA Shaka. That's VOA Shaka, and join in on today's discussion with your questions and comments. don't forget to use the hashtag VOA African Women. We'll be right back with you, so please, don't go away.
We're able to touch on things that are important to people on an everyday basis. We hope that our viewers are getting inspired when they watch our show. They're getting a view of the world from a different perspective, things that perhaps are not in their immediate vicinity. Today, I could put in on the show something that is a little different, a little unique, and this gives me that, inspiration to come to work.
This is Straight Talk Africa on the Voice of America. What is your opinion about today's topic? Call us at 202-619-3111. U.S. country code 1. When you call, remember the following. Ask only one question. Keep your comment brief and turn down the volume on your radio or television. Now let's return to Straight Talk Africa.
Thank you very much, Esther Gidhu-Ewart, and of course this is Straight Talk Africa coming to you live from Washington. Let me come to you again, Moni Pearl. If you were to talk to us from the deepest, better part of your Ghanaian heart and soul, do you really think that women, especially in Ghana, are better off today than they were, for example, 10 years ago? And if so, why?
Oh, thank you for the question, Shaka. So I always tell people whenever I get a platform that women empowerment and women rights is a human right. It is not something we have to fight for. It is our right. So, and we are not running a race with men. We are just asking for our right, equal right. So in Ghana, I think looking at a few years back till now, Ghana has improved a lot. At least looking from the time of President Rawlings through to President Ajakum Kufuor, through to President Mohammed, the late president, till now, a lot has taken place. So let me cite examples, the positive, and I'll hit on the negative. So on the positive side, I would say that initially when you go to the university, medicine and all the big courses were for men. Mm-hmm. And programs like my program, which is food science, were for women. Mm-hmm. And I remember way back at Kenya University with my roommate, a guy walked to our room and he said, "What course do you offer?" My roommate mentioned her own, and when he asked me, I said, "I'm a food scientist." He said, "Do you sell wache? Do you sell jollof? Do you sell?" And he started mentioning all the Ghanaian foods. And I'm like, food science is not about selling food on the street. Mm. And this guy is a pharmacist, and he never respected my cause. So people always have the impression that women should always go for something little or something that is not recognized. And to be a woman, if you have to go far to offer medicine, there is no family backup initially in Ghana, because people go like, you have to get married early, 7 years in medical school, you come back, you have to go for rotation, you have to do this, your family will be counting a number of years for you. And sometimes, even here, when I got here, my cousin was advising me, sometimes when you try to go so far, there is the perception that men are afraid to approach you. So then why do I have to go far when I know that I will just be married to somebody one day? Why don't I just sit down with my SHS degree or just a normal bachelor degree and wait for somebody who is a medical doctor to marry me, or somebody who has attained something better? So years ago, it was that kind of challenge, and women in the classroom used to be like having more men against the women. So even if you want to ask a question, that intimidation was there, and it was much of a problem. So I remember when my dad wanted me to be a marine engineer, and he took me to the marine university. Mm-hmm. I was the only lady in 46, in the class of 46 people and 45 men. So I survived, and because of one or two things, I had to leave the school, not for the fact that I was the only lady, but like financial stuff. Mm. So I left the school and I continued at Kenya University for this program. But sometimes I sit back and I just assess it. And I remember when a friend told me that if you were a marine engineer, by now you'll be on sea and there'll be no man for you. There'll be no life for you. So I think now ladies are doing so much we have marine engineers, and we have medical doctors. I respect them so much. And for me, I think looking at a lot of mentors in my life in Ghana, I don't look so far. I look at people in Ghana, and sometimes I look at other people too, like Ellen. I got a chance to meet her, and it was a privilege, former president of Liberia, and I'm like, well, I want to be like you one day.
Really?
So, yes.
You
so,
mean the incumbent president of Liberia?
Of Liberia, yes.
By the way, the package referred to her as the first female African head of state. That is not correct. What is correct is that she is the first democratically elected African female head of state, because the distinction of the first African female head of state goes to another great lady from Liberia who is now late, Ruth Perry, back in 1996.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah.
Right.
So you were talking about...
Yeah, I look up to her a lot, and I look up to former president of Malawi too. And I met her at the World Food Prize Symposium, and looking at her sit on the stage, I'm like, I can be like her. Why should there be limitations? She's a woman just like me. She has children. She spoke about it on stage. So why can't I be like her? So I think these are some of the things that has also helped Ghana to develop. So the few ladies that came out, out of all the odds and became who they wanted to be, they've also motivated some of us. So I was telling my dad yesterday, Dad, I want to make you proud. I want to have my PhD and be the first person to be called a doctor for you among your kids. And he's like, I'm waiting to see that.
Very interesting.
And I'm not afraid. I want to do that because I know ladies have attained that, and I can do it too.
What about thinking about perhaps becoming the first Ghanaian female president?
I would love that. So that's why I look at the former president of Liberia, and I also look at the former president of Malawi a lot. I have their names in my diary, and I normally research about them, and I look at it. And sometimes people tell me, I think you'll be a politician one day. I'm looking up to that. My dad is a politician, and probably I will. But for now, I just want to add my quota to the food industry and also have platforms like this to empower women and like not just keep going alone, but have people to go together with me. So some of the negatives in Ghana happens to be violence. And when I came here as part of the Humphrey program, they had a whole seminar for us where they spoke to us about violence at the workplace. So they like, if somebody touches your breast, somebody touches any part, you should report it, and they are not supposed to. But then when my coordinator was standing there and giving us this presentation, I just threw my mind back to Ghana. If you are in the classroom, if you are at the workplace, and you go and submit your report to your boss and he touches you, what can you do? You just scream, you just say a word.
Really?
Yes, because if I want to take it far, I have to go for my own lawyer, and sometimes your voice may not be heard.
Who is the Chief Justice of Ghana?
So currently, I just don't know who the Chief Justice is, because I think the government is also still like putting up.
But until recently, you did have a female Chief Justice, correct?
Yes. And
you mean she would not hold your back legally?
She will, but that is if you get somebody to take you that far. But I'm talking about I coming from that town called Nkoko Kwewu, and imagine with my background, at least I'm from the average Ghanaian home. If somebody from the poor home has a problem like this at the workplace, who will take up the fight for her? So sometimes you need somebody to be like, okay, I'm just a lawyer. As in over here in the United States, I'm told you have state lawyers, attorneys, who can take up cases. In Ghana, we do have it. How do you even assess them? So those are some of the challenges that I'm throwing up to the government over there and to all African governments, that they should try and improve on it and help us a lot. And other part of it is whereby if you need a job, you qualify, and you know you qualify very well. But now the job rate goes still for more on the men's side. So if you're a lady, the likelihood that sometimes your boss wants to have an affair with you before he can give you that secure job, and sometimes they even lie to you. So there have been instances where people go through all this, and I know a lot of ladies are hiding out there. How can you talk about it? It's embarrassing. How can you talk about it? You go and tell somebody this man had to like engage me sexually before giving me the job, and later on he fired me. You can't explain it to anybody, so you shut up, and sometimes you just stay with it, or other times you just have to leave. And another platform is whereby there is equality in the picture. So you are being made or believe that there is equality at this workplace or there is equality in this school. But whenever there is a situation whereby the voice of the lady must be heard, she's silenced. So an example is if they give equal platform like to us, to the men, as they give to the men, I think ladies should be able to sometimes walk to their bosses without any fear. But it's like men have that inner confidence as compared to women, even as of now. A lot of women are doing it. They are doing so well by building up their self-esteem and their confidence. But people are still afraid because you're counting on your children at home. What if I tell him I don't like that and I lose my job? Who will take care of my children?
Julianne, you listen to Moniper. How do you react to that? How do you react to some of the things that she has said? And in fact, what type of obstacles or challenges have you encountered as a female, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You know, I mean, so many of the things that you know, African women deal with in Africa, those are the same challenges we have here in the U.S. in a lot of ways. Fortunately, we have, I think, a better justice system that's actually implemented for the most part. But, I mean, we have instances here, and this is not even in the workplace, but there's been so many instances of young black girls who go to school with their hair natural, in the natural state, not straightened, not in braids, any of that, and they're being told to go home because their hair is not following the dress code. There's been so many stories of that. You have girls who are being made fun of. And so, you know, it actually starts at that young age. And this is where, you know, there's this wonderful African proverb that says sticks in a bundle aren't easily broken. This is where I think as women we really need to unite more. We need to collaborate more. We need that mentorship. I think so often, unfortunately, we find that we're competing with one another when in reality we should be supporting one another. Because when you think about what happened in Liberia and how the Liberian women ended the civil war, that in and of itself is just such an incredible story. So I think there's so many examples that have been given already by so many people, so many women about the things that really work. But I think so often we try to do things by ourselves versus actually collaborating and supporting and mentoring one another.
Really?
Really.
You know, you again, as I was doing a bit of research about you, I discovered that you have a mission.
I do.
Can you tell us about that very briefly?
Well, I was born in Uganda, and my mother's actually Rwandese, so I claim both. But I've grown up in the United States. And, you know, growing up, it was very challenging to grow up as in an African household because, yes, we were here, but we were still very much African children. And our parents raised us that way. So we had a lot of challenges. I know my siblings and I know so many other African children go through this, where you're trying to be like your peers, your American peers, but then you're still being raised in a very African household. So you have these self-esteem issues and, you know, you have to work through that. So for me, a big part of my mission is just teaching people to be proud of where they come from and who they are, who they're created to be, so that they can really, I don't think you can truly walk in your purpose until you've embraced all of who you've been created to be. That I believe to be true. And I think too often we're trying to do too much to ourselves. You know, I have no problem people doing their hair however they want and all that. But, you know, I hear about the skin bleaching and everybody's wearing weaves. Again, there's nothing wrong with wearing a weave, right?